and we shall start.
And we're on.
Oh, we're on. Okay, great. Hi, welcome, Facebook followers, and welcome to KP and Associates Q&A Thursday, 1 o'clock. We have two very special guests from Harb's Plumbing, Zaid and TJ, and we will be discussing and questioning them all about plumbing in the next couple of minutes. But at this point, Carrie Ann, could you give us some stats? I don't know why I'm stuttering today. It's just like, oh. So here we are, live.
Good afternoon, Facebook. Don't mind the hammering in the back. We're under construction in the office still. So we've had 270 new listings in the last 7 days in Halton, 97 price decreases, 246 sold listings, 98 canceled listings, and there's 236 active in Burlington and 482 active in Halton.
So I'm just going to make a comment on that, those stats. First of all, there's a lot of media out there that's saying the market is going down, everything is happening as far as recession and in regard to the real estate market, and it's not so. What is happening is that we have had a little bit of a slowdown in the marketplace as far as sales, not sale prices. Okay, I want to stipulate that because it's the media plays on words, and when you talk about having only 230 some odd listings in Burlington, it's still a very, very, very low number. And as far as the supply is concerned, buyers are still out there looking and hunting and searching for that right house. They may be on days on the market for a little while longer. And it's usually, I think, what did you say, Carrie Ann, about 14 days, did you say? 14?
Right now the average is 15, but the max is, the average is about 15 days.
Yeah, and you know, 14, 15 days is not very long, and you just have to price your home correctly. So that's my comment on that. So welcome, TJ and Zaid. Welcome from Harb's Plumbing. And TJ, I'll start with TJ and then we'll go from one to the other, but I want to ask TJ a couple of questions, first of all, about his background and his family background, because we have all seen Harb's Plumbing trucks around town and for many, many, many years. So talk to me about how you got into the business, TJ.
So, you know, it's been a family business since 1974, and my dad and uncle used to work, you know, and run the business in Burlington here. And, you know, over the years, obviously summers and after school and weekends, started to pick up the trade, and something that I love doing. And about 5 or 6 years ago now, you know, the old folks kind of went one way and retired and made way for the new generation, right? So, you know, and ever since then, we've just been working really hard on our branding, on our customer service, on, you know, making it there when you need us, right? So, you know, things are a plumbing emergency. Sometimes you're going to need us there and then and now. And, you know, we respond right away. We call customers back right away. And one of our main things is customer service focus, right? So, you know, my cousin Zaid, like I said, he's more of a business manager and helping me take that business to, you know, the next level, especially these days with, you know, how things are, Instagram, Facebook, all that, right? And our business was built on word of mouth. So we've just been trying to continue that for years.
You have a very, very good name in town for sure. Absolutely. I mean, you know, the trucks are very visual, because I think you changed the trucks. You changed the color, didn't you?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, right? Try to bring it into the 21st century, you know, something that people would call cool plumbing company. So, you know.
Well, maybe you should change it to cool plumbing.
I think so. I think so.
But it is, I have to say that, so do you work mainly, so Zaid, tell us a bit about your background. Now, Zaid is a cousin to TJ, so it's, as I said to them earlier, it's a family affair here. So, which is wonderful, because if the family gets involved, you know that there is loyalty and trust. And so Zaid, how long have you been with TJ and working together with the family?
So I graduated in 2017, studied business, specialized in finance. So when I joined him, you know, he was in the trenches. There's not much of a back office. So that's where I recognized an opportunity where, you know, most businesses nowadays, they need a strong back office in order to operate in the front end, especially being like frontline workers. You got to be there for your customers right away. Always dealing with like changes in orders and attending to those needs. So that's what we put first, right? It's the business never sleeps. We've always got guys ready to help our local community. And we just
24/7?
Pardon me?
24/7?
We're actually
24/7?
We're actually 23-hour service. So we got to have an hour off, Karen. No?
You sleep
Impressive.
for an hour, right?
I got to do something. If you call me at 4 in the morning, it's a bit tough, you know. Might be off that hour.
Very impressive. Yeah,
Thank you.
very impressive. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So Zaid, you and I agree with you totally. You have to have a manager in the back office. You have to have that organization in regard to, you cannot, there are so many contractors, and I have to make a comment on this because there are so many contractors out there that do not have anybody organizing their business. So they don't even know if they're coming and going and their appointments and when are they, and that's why they show up for a job and then 2 days later they come back again. And you know, it's interesting because they have to you know, fulfill their responsibilities in regard to what they told their customers. Whereas if you have a back office that's organized, it's absolutely fantastic. So that good on you, and it's going to make you more money in the end result for sure. So all right, so commercial, residential, which is the higher of the two that you service?
So we do mainly residential. We do light commercial repairs. So, you know, pretty much we do Burlington, Oakville, Hamilton, Stony Creek, you know, pretty much Carlisle, Kilbride, the whole area. We don't really dip into the Mississauga area because obviously, you know, we wouldn't be able to attend to our customers around the Burlington, some surrounding areas, right? So mostly residential. So anything in the house, pretty much, we're your guys, or we know somebody qualified and trained that'll be able to help you, and licensed and insured. So it's always, you know, because we also have a renovation business. So we have a kitchen and bath showroom. We got out of the kitchen, so we just do strictly bath now. And you know, we do about 3 bathrooms a week throughout the whole year. So we, you know, full-time tile guys, you know,
Wow.
and an organized system. So you get, you know, plumbing and bathrooms, they go together, right? So
Exactly.
the main contractor on a bathroom should be the plumber, right? In my opinion, you know. So that's why we've been in, and we've been doing that for about 35-40 years now. But again, you know, with the new you know, the new system and the branding, we've just been taking it to another level now, more exposure.
Yeah, that's excellent. You're very diverse then. It's really, you know, and it covers, if something is a little slower on one end, then you can cover financially the other end, right?
Of course.
That's superb. That's absolutely superb.
Thank you.
So you started the kitchen / bathroom business 35 years ago, or did you just start the plumbing 35 years ago? Talk to me about that.
So plumbing's been around since 1974. We've had a tile guy, John, who's been working with us for literally 40 years.
Wow.
So we didn't really, if you tell a lot of our customers that have been with us for a while, they probably don't know we do bathrooms. So it wasn't something that was really, you know, out there per se, but if you did it, you wanted one, we'll do it for you, right? But I'd say in the last 5-6 years, when I took over, You know, we never had a showroom. We never really had a shop before I took over. And we weren't really doing bathroom renovations because we're so busy with plumbing, right? You know, we're one of the biggest plumbing companies around Burlington, Oakville area, right? So once we built that showroom, that really took that renovation side of our business to another level, because people like to come in visually, touch, feel, see the tile and whatnot. You know, we used to go to people's homes with tile samples and boards and stuff. So it just really wasn't working out anymore. And you know, we made our own facility, and people come here, they pick it, you know, choose whatever they like, and we make that dream happen.
Yeah. So your tile guy, by the way, as a note, is as old as I am, because I've been in the business 40 plus years too.
Well, there you go. And you guys have to be, you guys have to be some of the best then, because with you know, greatness comes wisdom as well, right? So and time. So
lots of wisdom, TJ. Lots of wisdom. I have to say. I don't know if I.
We'll save that for another Facebook Live there. We'll need a long time.
Yeah, that's right. And no, I'm going to write my book, and then once 100%. I write my book, then everybody will know exactly. And tell your tile guy that if he wants to add a few notations in the book, he's welcome to do that. Anyway, sure. As far as subdivision or builders, do you work for a lot of builders, or you just work for private residential?
Yeah, so we usually try to work for ourselves, if that makes any sense. So, you know, customers call us, we deal with the customer direct. We rarely deal with subcontractors and contractors. Sorry, I apologize. Those are more for, you know, when I used to be on my own and had my own truck, I'd work for a lot of contractors. I'd be the sub, right? But now that we're in a service business and renovations, we're the main people, we're the main contact. So we have very minimal subcontractors we do work for and contractors we do work for. But I would say most of the work comes from us. Okay.
And so, Zaid, how many calls a week do you get for private residential homes? Do you know?
So it ranges, you know, over the years, we've seen the trend, you know, what months are the heaviest, what months are the lightest. So we do our best to prepare for that. But, you know, on a good day, we're at like 40, 45 calls. And then the slower days, we're at like 30, 35 calls. I don't know if this guy answers all the calls. His brother's on vacation right now, but, you know.
Sorry, TJ. I thought that Zaid was the numbers guy. Huh?
How many people are on your team?
So with our subs, we've got about 35 people. And, you know, everyone that works with us is like family. We've established that, you know, that corporate culture hasn't really, you know, set in, because we like to keep things friendly. Obviously, like when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to play, it's time to play. So we do, you know, activities throughout the year to keep everyone active and healthy, and try to give back as much as we can. So we want to get into doing that.
Usually carrying around
So you're very family orientated business, right? You have a lot of family working in the business. Is this true?
Yeah, it is. So we got my brother, my cousin, my other brother, and pretty much, you know, and also have some of my friends that actually, my best friends that work with me. You know, we say that word with as opposed to for, because, you know, I'm still in the trenches, I'm still working, you know, and especially with 35 people around, you know, I really shouldn't have to work, but at the same time too, it's just, you know, you lead by example, right?
Yeah, I agree.
That's exactly what you say, Karen, too. I work with you. We work as a team and a family, right?
We do.
Even though we are family anyway.
My daughter is Carrie Ann is my daughter. And so we've been working together for 4 years, and it's worked out very, very well for us.
Awesome.
Yeah, a family is always nice to work with. Yeah, and I've watched, you know, it's interesting because you watch, I've watched your father grow, because as I said, I've been in the business 40 years. So, you know, I saw him at the very beginning. I not saw him physically, but I saw his trucks around, and you know, I watched him grow. And it was very interesting to see a business in Burlington grow so large and successfully, you know. So talk to me about the biggest problem that you've ever had in a residential home that you were called upon to fix.
You know, you want to hear about the stinky ones, or you want to hear about just the plain Jane? Because we get into all sorts of sticky situations per se. You know, you could go to somebody's house, they got a sewer backup where their whole basement's filled up with number 2, or you could go somewhere and somebody's house, you know, a pipe burst in the ceiling, and you know, they don't know where the main shut off is. And that's one of the issues that we've been finding a lot, is when we go to customers' homes, not only are we going to actually fix the issue, I actually will try to educate the customer if they don't know. Hey, listen, you know, by the way, this is your main water shut off. If anything explodes or anything happens through your water, shut it off, do this, you know. And they, you know, a lot of people, it's not their fault. They don't know where things are that are important to know.
No.
Especially emergency shutoff valves and things like that, right? So these things are set in place for people to know where they are, but unfortunately, it's just how it is, and it's not a big deal. But when we go to our customers home, we try to educate them on that stuff, right? So.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that, TJ, because when we sell a house, they have an inspection, but I've never, you know, have I ever heard the inspector say, this is your main shutoff? Not really, but I'm sure that they're so excited about buying the house, they just, you know, it sort of goes in one ear and out the other. And then when something does really happen, when they've moved into the house, they go, where is that main shutoff? You know, it's like, and so it's you're for sure. And so maybe that's called for a refresher by the inspector when they move in.
Well, you wouldn't believe the amount of calls that we get of, hey, I just moved in. Hey, I just moved in. Hey, I just bought this house, you know, and they don't. That's, you know, that's why I do mention that, because they don't know, you know, and it's not their fault, like you said, because they're new to that home, excited, and who wouldn't be to purchase a house, right? But at the same time, too, the mechanical aspect of the home is one of the most important aspects: plumbing, electrical.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to mess around with any of those, right? So we get that call literally. No. You know, we just got a call today from, you know, we do a lot of work with realtors because obviously see our branding, and another hot topic these days is high-tech piping, you know, and that water lines. So, you know, they had a home inspector there, and he doesn't know if it's high-tech or not. So we have to go down there and make sure, because you could get into a big job, and that's not cheap fix, right? So
no. Well, interestingly, the in the orchard, it was mainly high-tech plumbing put in, and in the Bluffs, I had a client who sold in there, and the inspector said, this is high-tech plumbing, and it cost him probably a good 70 to 80,000 to replace.
We did one in the Bluffs too. I think pretty sure the house was, you know, maybe what, 20,000 square feet, 19,000 square feet. And it was actually something ridiculous. And just the plumbing aspect alone was 42,000, you know, we had to put holes in his walls all over. Right. So it's not a small thing.
Well, it was really interesting because I was in a washroom the other day washing my hands, and I was looking for the towels, and I looked underneath, and there was high-tech plumbing, and I went, what the heck? You know, and because I recognize it, you know, just by the not by the tubing or the piping or the whatever it's called, but it's but by the actual writing on it, you know, you can see, you can tell. So so the real estate agents have to identify it, because it's uninsurable, unfortunately, in housing. And so kudos to them for calling you, because, and what would you charge to come out and do something like that, just to look at it, TJ or Zay?
Our minimum charge is it's $148. So we come out, we inspect, we have a service call fee, but we wouldn't charge that if it's a quick, you know, in and out per se. We
Yeah.
walk around. Now, obviously, you can't tell what's behind walls and ceilings, right, and drywall, but for the most part, you go into the mechanical room, you check underneath sinks, like you said, right, and you definitely be able to identify it for sure. Sometimes some holes, little peephole has to get because we do a lot of condos as well. They have them on Walker's Line. A lot of the Sutherland build.
There's one on Upper Middle. Yeah, there's yeah.
And, you know, so we do
Yeah.
tons. We do tons. So.
And it's a lot of the new agents don't know about high-tech plumbing, and they are very, you know, they don't. I guess they don't look into it. But you deal with new agents, older agents, all agents, right?
All over, and one of the things is too is it's a law now that it has to be stated if you have the high-tech or not, because like you said, you're not getting insurance, even at high risk insurance. You might get your house insured for a month, but you have to remediate it, because sometimes people don't know. So because we're a little bit in the real estate world ourselves as investors, so we know as well that that has to be remediated before, because or else it's uninsurable.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the insurance companies give you 60 days to do that. They used to, because the the oil tanks, which is pretty much redundant now because everybody has changed over to not natural gas but propane gas or other areas of heating situations. But it's do you deal with geothermal? Is that what, plumbing and geothermal, do they go together?
Yeah, so some plumbing companies, they might do that, but we don't get into geothermal heating. More specific, those types of people would be a heating and cooling company as opposed to a plumbing and heating company, right? Yeah.
And so what about what is the who is the best customer that you have ever had that in fact you were so happy to deal with them, and you did a great job? What stands out in your mind in regard to that? Tell us about that.
Yeah, like I'll be honest with you, a lot of people, when we see them, are just appreciative, and that we even called back, because a lot of companies, they don't even call you back. We'll get that call. You're the third company that we've called, and we always call back within that 5-10 minute mark, right?
Okay.
So a lot of our customers, honestly, these boys out here, my guys, they get tips all the time, and I got this, and I got food today, and so I'll be honest with you, a lot of our customers are they're awesome, so you get these customers that'll go, I had a customer, she didn't want me to work in the heat wave, so she cranked up her AC, and I kept on asking her, I said, why are you in a sweater? And nice, very nice lady. She goes, I wanted to keep it cool for you, and I told her you could turn it down, like you could turn it. She's in a sweater in her house. I felt uncomfortable. I was freezing, right? So a lot of these people that we have, are they're just a lot of our customers are awesome, easy to deal with.
That's very great. Very good to hear. I mean, I have to say the same thing. Carrie Ann, I'm sure, agrees with me that a lot of our customers are, I mean, I would say 99% of our customers are great. Some of them are tough, but you know what? You learn to handle them, right? And and it's customer service, so you just deal with it.
That's the thing too, customer service. It's, you got to have that smile on all the time, and you know how it is, right? And we're very grateful for that. But like you said, sometimes there's some tough customers, but hey, we all got different personalities. It's just how you deal with it. What's the outcome, right? So we always like to come out on top. And unfortunately, there, we can't please everybody, and I can't say that there's a 100% satisfaction rate, but but we do our best, and we have a guarantee. We're not a fly-by-night company, so if we did something and it didn't work, we come back that day or the next day. So we have that. We have that. Where a lot of companies, they don't.
So you have a warranty. So if you do work on let's say plumbing underneath the sink, now do you have a warranty of any sort? Do you say it's it's under warranty for 1 year or 6 months, or if something happens to it, we'll come back?
Yeah, so we usually have a 1-year parts and labor warranty on
Perfect.
our labor. So if we come by, you know, like you said, underneath the kitchen, we replace the drain and whatnot and do a few things, and yeah, you have 1-year warranty on that with the parts and labor, you know, which is a great guarantee because that's how confident we are. And the other thing is with our bathroom renovations, we have a 5-year warranty as well. So
wow.
well, you shouldn't really have to change anything.
That's amazing. That is
know,
fantastic.
when you're
TJ
paying,
and Jay,
you know, 15,000, 20,000 for a bathroom, you know, 40,000 for a bathroom, you better have a really good warranty, right? So that's part of it too.
Well, and some contractors don't even, they have maybe a 1-year to 2-year warranty, and that's it. You're done.
That's it.
But that, you know, I have to say, Facebook followers, this is something that is incredible because over the years that I've met plumbers and electricians and contractors, that is a very, very good warranty because it shows you what kind of work that they are doing. They are standing behind their work. So absolutely fantastic, TJ. That works for sure. So in regard to any other suggestions that you can make to, now I'm going to suggest something afterwards, but any other suggestions you can make to our Facebook followers or anybody out there, household or owners, what do you suggest? Anything that
I don't really want to per se knock home inspections, but we get a lot of calls of missed items, things that, and it's not that person's fault because they don't know plumbing code. They don't know, you know, they might say, hey, this drain looks a bit funky, but, you know, pass it along or maybe take a picture, right? So I don't want to say that, you know, it's a waste or anything, but, you know, they definitely need to be educated a little bit more on the home, because if you're living there, like you say, we need to know what's going on with it, because a lot of new homeowners, they're new to the home. They're new to the plumbing. They don't know where this pipe is and this shut off for the outside tap, which is another big topic that people should know about, is winterization of their outside taps, because you won't know it's busted until the summer, you know. You'll come back, you'll open it up in the springtime, you're going to go outside to water, and you're going to come back inside and your basement's going to have an inch of water in it, right? So these are types of things where a lot of people need to know, because we live in Canada. We get that minus 40 outside. And, you know, if you have a draft coming into your house, it'll be minus 40 in the walls, you know, minus 30, you know, you could cut a hole and stick it in somebody's wall at home, and it's colder in the wall than it is outside, you know. So these are a lot of things that you need to know.
So an interesting point maybe is that you, as a homeowner, you tag your situations before you move, so that for the new homeowner to come in and it's tagged so they know exactly what it is, like the outside shutoff.
Absolutely.
And that way, you know, or even you know, a dissertation, even a how-to book, instruction book, and that's what I'm thinking of right now. That with our closings, just as a gift to our owners, maybe what we should do is give them 1 hour of a visit with you, so that they can go through that with you. And you know, what's $150 to us once, you know, it's a gift to them so that they get to know their house. And what a great gift, right?
Of course. And the thing is,
and then you would have, and do you have a pamphlet or an instruction pamphlet, or have you made up anything that you hand to new home buyers and say, here you go, here's a few things that you might want to look at?
Yeah, so a lot of the times we don't necessarily have a pamphlet per se. We have had pamphlets, you know, that tells people what we do and our services, and we hand those out along with our business cards every day, right? But usually when the homeowner tells us that this is a new home, we try to show them physically around, and you know, just the main, you know, emergency kind of valves that they should know about. Now, you get a lot of times, Karen, where, you know, they came into the home and the home's been renovated, and the last renovator didn't leave access panels, so there's things like that where, there's valves behind the wall that you don't know about, and it happens every single day, and we have to go cut the wall open, find the isolation valve. We get that with plastic fridge lines. If you have a plastic fridge line at your house, that should be changed to copper because they explode. So you go to find the fridge line, you can't find the shutoff because it's buried in a ceiling downstairs, right? So there's a few things that variables on different job sites are just, sky's the limit pretty much.
Yeah. And so that would be really, really good information for people that are moving into either a renovated home that they've fallen in love with because it looks so beautiful. But, there are a lot of hidden situations that the renovator or contractor did not do, right?
Yep.
And I think that would be very valuable information, and it brings back referrals to us, you, me, everybody, so, and that's the greatest thing. TJ, Zaid, sorry, you didn't talk too much, but is there anything you can add, Zaid?
Actually, yes, wait
a minute, hold on.
This is coming soon. So we've got, me and TJ used to sit in the garage and just brainstorm. And, one day he found this little piece of paper on my desk, and it just had like verbiage that I had just come up with, things that rhyme with Harb and, this and that. And one of them was actually Harb bucks. So I was like, okay, like we're not going to compete with Starbucks, but, did some more research and saw how we can diversify our revenue streams and further help people. So we're going to be launching our new Harb Bucks service plan. Each one's going to be tailored to, the end user, whether you're a homeowner, whether you have multiple properties, and there's a scope for each membership plan. And it basically covers you for things like we mentioned today,
plugged toilets, plugged sinks,
winterization.
Well, I'd be very interested in talking to you in regard to that. Getting some, when I do a presentation on a listing or with a buyer, I'd be very interested in getting a pamphlet of some kind from you. Read that, because in regard to that, because that to me is very, very important information. And
even that would be like if we gave them a 1-year membership or something, like depending obviously of whatever your Harb bucks and you can give them a 1-year membership and you guys go in, if it includes like a walkthrough or educational visit or something. That would be a kind of a neat kind of client gift, especially for a first-time home buyer, right?
Of course.
Because I know if I walked into a house, if I bought a house right now, I'm a first-time home buyer, and I would look at it and go, okay. I mean, my husband's pretty versatile and educated on that stuff too, but I would still not know where the emergency shutoff valve was. So, but yeah, no, I think
we just went through 4 or 5 months of no inspections and just buying a house firm. So it was quite an interesting, quite an interesting time because it's now inspections are back again. So we can do inspections and buy a house and without being in competition. But I would never buy a house without an inspection. Never. No. I can't even see that. And I watched and I would get all these offers and I go, how is it possible they're buying this house without an inspection? Anyway. So thank you for coming onto our panel. We really, really appreciate the information, and we will definitely be in touch with you to get some gift certificates or get something from you for our clients. And we would love to do that if you'd like to do that with us.
We'd love to.
And great. And is there anything else that we need to add, Carrie Ann?
No, I think
So
now I know
Facebook-
what your face looks like, and I can pick you out on the big poster on the corner of Guelph Line and Harvester.
There you
Every
go.
day I drive by it.
Now you know. Next time I'm gonna have a waving arm there for you. Okay.
now, you don't have to answer this, but do you own that property?
No, that thing's worth like 18
Okay.
million. I have a funny quick story for you if you want to know about it real quick. I know the gentleman
Yeah.
in the group that owns it. So I just had called him probably 2 weeks ago. Just, maybe I'll get a couple investors together. I'm like 5 million maybe or something, right? So I called him and he said 18 million. And I kind of was just okay, I'll
Yeah.
Bye.
I don't got enough investors for that. So no, we do our advertising on there, and that's about it. So we do have a few properties around town, which are not in the $18 million range, and so we have our own little thing going on. So
Good. Well, it was nice chatting with the two of you.
Thank you
Very,
so much.
very pleasant discussion, and I've learned a lot in regard to what people need actually, because I don't realize that when they walk into a house that plumbing is a big question in their minds, and it's funny because now that you realize that it's a great gift to have a plumber come in and just go through the house with them. So thank you again. And thank you, Facebook Live followers. Thank you for chiming in today. Remember, we're with KP and Associates under the KW Edge, and we're 170,000 agents globally, and which makes us one of the largest companies in the world. So thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take care,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, TJ.